Yet. I'm still not half alive.
We're live. Good evening, everybody. I'm
Hi,
Gina
everyone.
D here with Mama D, and we
We are
are back
officially
on
back.
track.
Officially. We
Yes,
actually have guests, not just Gina and I. It's like, oh, wow.
I know, but that show went well.
Yeah, it
I
did.
hope you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our little mini Oracle card messages. It was, a lot of fun mixed in with, some seriousness and some fun.
Yep.
We tried to keep it a little bit light, and it got us back on track for getting back into the swing of things and getting back our shows on tap. And tonight we have Money is an Energy Game, and we have two excellent guests. One's a Feng Shui master, and the other is an astrologer, and you're gonna find out all about them in their bio video that we are going to share right now. They'll be with us after. Now, this is a long one because it's for two people. So don't go leaving us and listen to it because, well, one, I worked hard on it.
Yeah.
And two,
Can I just say something?
fascinating women.
Can I
Yes,
just? I love
absolutely.
your name.
But, why is my name bio? I'm BioVid.
And I'm Mama
I'll
D.
change.
I'll
I will
see
change
y'all.
it. just a minute.
Good evening, everybody.
Oh,
This
come
is
on,
Gina
keep the
B
name
here with Mama D
Bio.
every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here in the Fox Den. Tonight we have two lovely ladies joining us. The first is Peg Donahue. She is a Feng Shui consultant, a personal empowerment coach, teacher, speaker, and an author. She has an MBA from Boston University and a BA from Georgetown University, along with 3 professional Feng Shui and several coaching, intuitive development, and healthy building certifications. In 2015, she received Southern New Hampshire University's 2015 Excellence in Teaching Award as an adjunct instructor. After a successful database marketing career, she founded Feng Shui Connections in 2001 out of a strong desire to help people succeed and easily achieve their life desires and dreams. She contributed to Success Manifesto with Brian Tracy in 2016 and co-authored Dorm Room Feng Shui in 2005. Peg lives in New Hampshire's Mount Washington Valley. She enjoys helping people to live and work in a healthy and vibrant spaces and to master the art of thriving with ease and joy. You can learn more about Peg at www.fengshuiconnections.com. Also joining us is Madeline Gerwick. She is an internationally recognized business, economic, and personal astrologer, speaker, and author. She has a BA degree with honors in economics, and she is listed in several Who's Who books, including Who's Who in the World. She annually writes The Good Timing Guide, Time Codes for Success, and the Good Timing newsletter, which accompanies it. She also co-authored The Complete Idiot's Guide to Astrology, available from Penguin Group, and she recently co-authored Money is an Energy Game. She's a contributing author to the business anthology, Einstein's Business, Engaging Soul, Imagination, and Excellence in the Workplace, which includes chapters from Oprah, Steve Jobs, Stephen Covey, and so many more. Madeline began teaching prosperity principles in 2002 with the introduction of the course, 8 Keys to the Ultimately Prosperous Business. She hosted her own national weekly radio show for over 5 years, Cosmic Connections with Madeline, as part of the Dr. Pat Show. She's now heard the first Friday of each month on www.rensradio.com. Her combined talents in business, astrology, economics, and prosperity training provide you with a new view of the economy and ways to prosper with the universe. Her company, Polaris Business Guides, is a metaphysical, consulting, and training firm which guides organizations and individuals to prosper by working in harmony with the universe. You can learn more about Madeline at www.polarisbusinessguides.com. Today, she is here to share the secrets from the award-winning book she co-authored with Feng Shui expert Peg Donahue, Money is an Energy Game. In it are 102 energy altering strategies and money attraction tools to jumpstart your prosperity and transform your relationship with money. Welcome to the show, ladies. Good evening.
Thank you for having us.
We have been away for so long, we forgot how to do everything. So thanks, ladies, for being here with us, and everybody who's watching us.
Hey, it's nice to have a break once in a while.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's the Fox Den. What's the Fox Den without a couple little snafus?
We always have glitches. It's like part of the
I don't know.
routine.
Well, we can change that story.
Yes.
I know.
This
We don't want
book.
the glitches.
Can I just say, all right, this book is like a makeover for the inside, the outside, and around you. I mean, it's like this is everything. This is seriously everything. You want to change it, there's a way to do it. Whatever aspect or part of your life, it's in here. It's amazing. I mean, kudos to you too for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So one thing to say with the technology, set the intention and put the story out there that everything is running smoothly. I'm so grateful that everything is running smoothly.
And let me just mention.
So you just omit glitches. Don't even go there.
Yeah, let me mention a quick story about that exact thing. One night I was at my favorite gourmet restaurant. I had stopped in to pick up something, and the guy was nervous because he said the food critic from a local major paper was going to come in that night. And he said every time a food critic came in, something always went wrong. So I said, well, we're going to change that story right now, and everything is going to go perfectly. And he agreed with that story, and he repeated it, and then everything went perfectly. They had a fantastic write-up. Their business boomed beyond belief.
Well, I'm telling you, and it's going to take practice. I mean, it really is. It's something. Again, now I read the book. It's 300 plus pages. I read the book in the manner of which to get the general gist of it for the show. This is something that needs to be digested.
Yes.
You know what and worked on step by step. You know, you pick up things and you don't have to read it cover to cover. You can. Well, you should, and then go back and then where the aspects are that you want to change and work on that. It's just I would never have thought of astrology being mixed with the feng shui, and and have it work so well together. You know, you two have really bounced off each other like Mama D and I do. You know, we have our different views, but I'm one way, she's another way, and we work beautiful together. And you talk about partnership in here. How important is it in partnership because this is the book is mainly about like getting prosperous and money. How important is it to find that perfect person that you can actually connect with?
Well, I don't know that you're going to find a perfect person, but what you want to find is someone who at least has a level of consciousness that's similar to yours and that you can grow with at a similar pace.
Think of it as a synergistic partnership.
Yeah.
Like Madeline and I have collaborated for 20 years or so now, but we didn't come together with the idea of collaborating. It just evolved. I mean, I started working with her on feng shui, for her clients. And first we were taking prosperity training classes ourselves. That's what we were doing.
Right.
And then our work together evolved. It wasn't like we're out there looking for a perfect partner to work with for the next 20 years.
So then how did you, all right, well, what prompted it? What made you guys write this?
Well, we both had taught 8 keys to the ultimately prosperous business. Right. And Peg went and got trained in the emotional freedom and healing release process and took over that part of the teaching and the coaching part of that program. And so, and I want to answer your question that you sort of posed a little bit at the very beginning of that statement, which was how odd it is that astrology and feng shui managed to come together in a book about money. And so I just want to mention astrology is the study of energy cycles, and Peg is a master of feng shui, which is a different form of study of energy. You see, so it's all everything we do is
Yeah.
related to energy.
Yeah.
And so we were just figuring out basically what does it take for us to be in alignment with universal energy and principles so that everyone is on a prosperous path.
Right. In each of our respective lines of work, that's what we do every day.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So did you-
it's all in the energy.
So in the feng shui realm, you would
Mhm.
hate my office.
Oh, no, I wouldn't hate your office because it's not mine. If you wanted help with your office, then I would be delighted to help you with that.
The shelves
That's
are
a lot
full.
of work.
However, there's a chair behind me, and there are empty shelves under there. So
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. No. See, it doesn't bother me the energy
Clutter?
of any spaces because things just are the way they are. And so what
Mhm.
I help do is decipher the puzzle and tune everybody into what that energy is in your space
Yeah.
and identify blockages that are going on, tune you into your intentions because all of your intentions have a particular location in your space that you can work with, or you might see
Yeah.
patterns that are blocking it. Sometimes it might be something that's broken or cluttered or not working, or it might be a mix of the energies. Where you could emphasize one energy, one element over the other. So it's a real pattern that's there, and so I just make it easy for everybody. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I always put my hand up for when it's my turn to ask a question. It's normal. Okay, I'm back in school.
I'm the school teacher. Go ahead.
There you go. Okay, so here's something that you just said that just sort of, I had no clutter here. Yeah, okay, Bob. Yeah, right. I'm gonna be down.
My house is so full.
Yeah. I changed my office spaces because it had to do with the internet and everything else.
Sure.
And this, where I am, used to be my bedroom, and my
Okay.
office, is now my bedroom.
Okay.
But since I switched, I kind of sort of said that it was because of COVID and everything else. But since I switched, there's been a lot of changes. I don't get clients anymore. I don't. My connection with spirit has changed. So would switching office rooms have made that much of a change?
Well, it could have. So, what would be interesting is to know what part of what we call the feng shui bagua, the symbolic map of life issues,
Mm-hmm.
where you're located. So, what that is a grid of 9 life areas. So, think of it as a tic-tac-toe board on your space.
Okay.
And so we have this in the book, but there's an area for career or your life purpose. That's the center front as you enter a space, and so you enter the space either on the left, the right, or the middle. So
Mhm.
career is in the middle, and then if you just bear with me a little bit, you go over to the left, and that's about wisdom, knowledge, and self development. Coming up on
Okay, just 1 second. Does that mean when you're coming into the
Trying to
house,
find
or when
You know
you're
what page
standing
it's
in
on?
the house? Like if I come into my house,
it's in
my
chapter
house is on the
7.
right.
Oh, 7. All right, I'm looking
Yeah.
at chapter 6. I knew it was around there.
So the entrance of my house, the door to my house, is on the right hand side.
Okay,
of the building.
so you
Okay.
enter your house in what we call helpful people and travel.
So
And
just-
then where is your and so whether it's on the main floor, upstairs, whatever, where is your office right now in
Yeah.
relation to that? Yeah, there it is.
everything is still. I'm gonna have to check that out because I got the PDF file for it.
Okay, so are you in
Um,
the front of the house or the back of the house? Or
I'm in right now. I'm in the back of the house.
You're in the back
still
of the
on
house.
the right side.
You're on the right side. Are you
Mhm.
in the center on the right, or are you in the back corner on the right?
Back corner.
Okay, so that is what we call the partnership area. So that's interesting. And where was your office before?
Was in the front right.
The front. So you're in the front right, almost
Yeah.
like over the front door.
No, it's still on the same level.
So, okay, so
I come in the front door.
yeah.
Right? I walk into the living room. The first room, which used to be my office, was the front right.
Okay, so the front right.
Yeah.
So that would either be helpful people to travel, or that would be what we call children enjoy. And then you're behind that right now, correctly?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in the partnership area.
Okay.
So there's a couple things that could enter into this, it would be the taking a look at the shape of your house, whether it's a square, rectangle. Sometimes there's areas that
Rectangle.
it's a rectangle. Okay, so that's great. And so the back, right? Do you have a door, that goes out to like the backyard or anything?
That's the left.
That's on the left
The
side.
the right side of the house has rooms. The left side of the house is the living room, which is an open concept living room, kitchen, dining room, all one. And then you're out the back door.
Is there a bathroom or restroom on the right side?
On the right side between the two bedrooms.
Between the two bedrooms. Okay, that possibly could have something to do with that, because that is a draining energy. So you can do things to uplift that energy of the bathroom, where it may not have affected your office before, but it may be affecting your work right now. That could be one. And then is there a difference in the colors? What color is, so it looks like it's white in there right now.
That is white.
Yeah.
Oops, wait a minute.
Her one
is lilac.
Yeah.
Whereas the other
pretty.
room,
so that's a nice color.
Complete lilac.
The other room is complete lilac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the lilac is nice in there. So the lilac is partly like a fire element a little bit, and the white is a metal element. So the room you're in what we're working with in the 5-element system, that it's an earth room. It's ruled by earth energy. So fire feeds the earth and metal depletes it. So having more earthy things in there could help, strengthen the energy in that room. Now, we're not here. You're muted.
Okay. Earthy cat just popped out the window.
Okay. Cat. So
just for anybody who hears noise in the background.
Animals bring nice fire energy, and people and animals.
She's a ginger, so that's
there you go. There you go. And okay, so tell me about your desk, how you're situated.
I'm not sure.
Are you in what we call a command position? So a command position is where you can see the door.
No.
You're not in line with the door, and you have a solid, say, wall for support behind you. So is the door at your back?
My desk. The desk is here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's a wall.
Okay, so you're up against the wall.
Yes.
Okay.
I used to be in that position.
Were you up against the wall in your previous office?
Yes, but a different wall.
A different wall. Okay. So that could possibly have something to do with it. And many American offices, particularly and you're not in a cubicle, but particularly in cubicle environments, employees are up against the wall. And think about the implications of that in our work. When we feel like, we're crunched on time, we're always up against the wall. So placement of your desk is really important. So it looks like, is there a door behind you? Is that the door to the office that's behind you?
That's a window.
No, that's the window.
Okay, so you have a window behind you.
Stares at all the other critters.
Oh, I think I do see the cat there now. Yes. So you have a window behind you, and can you see the door from where you are?
I can see the door is over there.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's behind me, and the door out this room is there.
Yep. So the window's behind you. So, one time when I had an office and a window behind me, I put like a symbol of a turtle on the window, because turtles represent strength and support. So adding a little statue of a turtle would help to do that, to build support behind you. And do you have the wide space of the room in front of you? The larger part? Oh, you're on mute again. Do you have the larger part of the room in front of you?
You're muted, Mama.
Behind.
Oh, there's a large space. Okay.
Yeah, it's a small room. It's
a small room. So would it be convenient to move your desk further back so that you have more room in front?
You know what? Never thought of that. I could.
Okay. That is a possibility then. What happens when we have more space in front, and that's one of the things we encourage, is to have more space in front, because that's where opportunity comes.
Right.
And so, did you have more space in front in your other office?
No, I was actually in a smaller room.
Oh, you're in a smaller room. Okay. You were in a smaller. Did you have solid support behind you when you were at
Yeah.
your desk?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one difference. You had more support behind you. So the size of the room doesn't have to be a big room that you're in. Small rooms, small offices work and can be very, very good
Okay.
as well.
Oh, we won't focus everything on me in my room.
No, that's
Well, I
right.
wanna
But
ask
that's
you-
really important, though, that you notice that there was a difference. So also,
Right.
so now what you could do is play with that and set the intention that I'm so grateful that more and more clients are coming to me every day.
Yeah.
My business is growing. You can set an intention for the size bank account that you want to have
Okay.
there as well. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will let you know how that goes.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. And my office, I mean, there's a lot going on in my office. I mean, I'm sitting at one desk.
Yes.
And it's like my door's here. Right?
Okay.
There's a door, a little piece of a wall, and a closet. Then the wall in front of me has 2 windows. That's my view to outside.
Oh, so that's a nice
Nice.
expansive view.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
have another desk right here, which
Okay.
is my bill-paying desk.
Okay.
Right in the far corner, it's kitty corner, big tall thing, armoire, doors and
Yeah.
all that, cherry piece of furniture. And I
Nice.
go over to another storage, all my bookcases. Then I have a drafting table where I do all my crafts. And then
Wow. So you're really surrounded with this, and your books look really organized. A lot of books back there, they look really organized.
yeah,
Yes.
they're in spots. Show books are over here, and art books are over here, and like a lot of metaphysical books are there, and
Yeah.
building, because I'm a tool belt diva, and did design and decorating. Those are all over here. So yeah, they are clumped, and I have a whole other office area downstairs.
Oh wow.
It's a
Okay.
standalone office area with the writing desk that's in the center of the room that is cleared and clutter-free.
Ooh, there you go. And it looks like you may have like a couch or a chair, a nice comfy chair in there.
Yeah, that's my reading chair. So
Okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
No, and it's so important for everybody to have a space that they can call their own.
Yeah.
A chair that you can go to, or, some people are fortunate enough to have a room that you can go to, whether it's for meditation or not, but a space that you can have your own. And everybody in the house, should have that space. That really, really helps.
Wow. Ashley says, I don't know why, but she always pictured my door on the other side. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So I go out, and then across is my bedroom. There's stairs to go up to the 3rd floor. But
Okay.
the office is located in the back left.
The back left. Ooh, the back left corner?
Yep.
Ooh, from reading the book, do you know what corner that is?
Prosperity.
Yeah. That's the wealth corner. So that is awesome. So think about that corner from top to bottom, bottom to top in your house. Those areas all relate to wealth, but not only in that corner. It happens in every room. So Mama D, you also have a wealth corner in your office, which is the back left from when you come in. So there's an opportunity there to energize that back left corner for prosperity. Oops, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think they're making noise. She's got
okay.
The baby is
That's
there.
Right. So that back left corner, when you come in from the door, the furthest corner away from you on the left, you can place something there that reminds you of prosperity. It might be a beautiful plant, might be a treasure box, something gold or purple or green, something energetic. It could be a mirror. It could be a crystal. It could be anything. I have what I think is a very cool item on my desk. And so you can place the bagua on your desk as well. So in the wealth corner of my desk, I have this inlaid box that one of my brothers gave me as a gift many years ago. He was in the service, and he sent it back from the Mideast, and he sent it for Christmas. And in this inlaid box is gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And that is like one of the coolest gifts I have received.
I know. How unique is that?
Yeah, it was very unique. It still is very unique. So I keep that in the wealth corner of my desk.
Oh, how perfect.
Yeah.
How perfect. Yeah, because my
fun.
bill
So
paying desk is that corner.
Great. And speaking of bill paying, we do talk about in the book of the value when you pay your bills, of paying your bills in joy.
Mm-hmm.
paying your bills
Exposed to.
with gratitude that you have the money to pay your bills and for all the
Exactly.
goods and services that you have benefited from.
Yeah.
And you're sharing the wealth and passing it on to
Yeah.
others.
And I like how you guys incorporate stories. You'll tell a
Oh,
story
thank you.
about Madeline does this and Peg has had that. And the example is, and you have all these stories, so it's relatable. Everything is
Yes.
relatable as you're going along, so it's very simple. Wealth corner is always the back left from a door. Well, that's the bagua is what.
Yes, it is the
That's
back
Yeah.
left from when
yeah,
you enter a space. So it goes for your land, your house, every room in your house, or your building, wherever you
yeah,
are. So
yeah.
you can
That
and your
that
desk
nine
as
space
well.
grid. You can put it on
That
the
nine
house, on
space
the
grid. Think
desk.
of it as a
Yeah.
tic-tac-toe board. And so at when you place it down, that back left, the furthest left corner, that is the wealth and prosperity corner. But all the areas are important because
Yeah.
when I'm working with feng shui, it's like when you're working with clutter, there's no place to move it where you won't impact your life. Like
That's
wherever
right.
you move it, you are
Yeah.
impacting your life. And
All
clutter
right.
is
So
very
now,
simple.
yeah.
It's
Well,
either something you don't love or something you don't use.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I use everything here, so it's not clutter.
there you go.
or it's paper or piles
Yeah.
or boxes or book piles.
Yes.
Uh-oh. What happened? Mama left.
Oh,
Oh, Mama got
she left.
she either got booted or something happened, but that's okay. But now I want to go to all right. So now we have the energy that we're trying to focus, like in the house. All right. So we
That's
got
right.
the proper energy going in the house. Now, astrologically speaking, the what what is that saying, the crook in the craw, the thing that's always driving us all crazy is that Mercury retrograde
Retrograde.
that destroys
It's
us all.
coming.
Is it coming? All right, because it happens 3 times a year. And Madeline and I were discussing this yesterday, and she's like, "Yeah, if you just knew it, 2 weeks before." So that is why she does what she does. Now, explain what you do. So I'll stop.
Okay, so I do astrology for businesses and individuals, and I also write a newsletter that gives people information about the economy based on cycles and my economics training, which I have to admit is a lot less
All
valuable
these
than timing.
right.
So, yeah, once I discovered cycles, I realized that a lot of what I learned in economics was not working. And so I began to pay a lot more attention to the cycles. But in an average situation for business, uh, timing impacts how successful you are in a number of different ways. It can have an impact on how successful you are based on when you start your company with the state, or open a particular branch, or introduce a new product, or launch a website, or sign a big important contract. So there are a lot of different ways, or get married, have surgery, start a new job. A lot of different ways that timing impacts us, on just a regular basis.
Oh, her internet crashed.
Oh no.
And she said she'll do her best to monitor from there. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I write the good timing guide every year so that people can know good days to do important activities. And it's just a color coded guide, which you'll get your copy soon. And it's just simple to use. Anyone who, you don't have to know any astrology. You just you just have to be able to read colors, basically.
Yeah, right. And then, yeah, red, yellow, green,
Yeah,
blue.
red, yellow, green, blue. Yeah. So the idea, and I'll just give you one tidbit about data related to timing. Back in the 90s, early 90s, a group of astrologers got together and they randomly selected 1,400 bankrupt companies, and they wanted to look at their birth charts, the charts for when they started with the state. They wanted to know, is there a particular cycle that will identify a company that's going to go bankrupt? And what they discovered was that 100% of all these 1,400 bankrupt companies had the same cycle. They were started under a period known as a timeout, or at least I call them a timeout. The official name is a void of course moon, which is pretty archaic and no one would know what that means. And so I call them a timeout because you can't score because the ball is not in play.
Right. And if we knew this, if you know what, it's just
if you knew this, you would do something different, right?
I'm wondering if all those things that have happened to me in the past, or or business moves that I made, or trying to either partner with someone or do something different,
right?
And it wasn't the right time, and it didn't work out. And I'm just wondering if I waited 2 months, if I waited 3 months, or if you know what I mean?
Or even the next day. Sometimes it's a matter of a day. It's interesting. So there are a lot of different cycles that are occurring all at the same time. And of course, that's one of the reasons I write the Good Timing newsletter, so people can get an understanding of how these energies interact with each other and how they're going to impact businesses in general. So you mentioned Mercury retrograde. Now this
is a demon child.
The cycle is coming up. It's going to start, I think, on the 27th. And
you do know you're muted, right? Okay.
I muted?
No, I was just giving you a chance to talk.
Okay. Okay. So Mercury retrograde lasts about 3 weeks. It happens every 88 days, so every 88 days you're going to encounter this. And it's worth noticing because if you did notice it and pay attention to it, you could prepare for it appropriately, and then you would have a much, much better experience of it. So most of us, go ahead.
I just I like that fact that, take that time out. That's the time, go over things, plan things. Just don't do things.
Well, you can finish things. You can, do your paperwork.
Well, think of, I always say, think of the RE words. And in feng shui, I love Mercury retrograde periods because it's a chance that you can do research, you can renovate, you can, declutter, clear things out, you can catch up with projects.
Recycle.
Rethink.
Redo.
You can repair. There's lots and lots of things to do. So again, this is a cycle. I think it's worth putting a new story around, and it's just how you use these Mercury retrograde cycles. So you get all your contract work done before or after. If you're going to purchase electronics before or after, you work around this period. So we're in that cycle now of getting ready for it. And then you can pick it back up again, 3 weeks later, so this would be in later October, Madeline? I'd have to look up the
I'd
date.
say probably November would be a better time.
There you go. So get it done now.
But actually, I wouldn't even recommend that because we're in the blue communications period right now. And so if people think they're going to outrun Mercury retrograde at this point, that's pointless. You're not going to outrun it. It's already in the area that it's going to retrace, you see. And that's why the whole idea now is to slow down and to double check all your details, because this is the time period when most people make mistakes. And when they find those mistakes, it's during the Mercury retrograde period. And then, and then it's a big crisis because they don't have the time to fix it at that moment. So then they have to reschedule something, and then it gets all convoluted and chaotic. And so what you want to do is catch your mistakes before they go out. And that's how you do it. You double and triple check all your details now, so that when you get to the Mercury retrograde period, you will have time to do the recycling, the reviewing, the reprinting, the renovating, or whatever it is that you really want to do.
Right.
And
And
so,
I'm gonna put that picture back up too, because she does have this covered. All right. You can get this. All right. You can go to her polarisguides.com site. All right. She has astrology books. She has the astrology book, the
oh,
Enneagram Guide.
it's
Right? But
polarisbusinessguides.com.
oh,
Polarisbusinessguides.com.
oh, all right. I have it right on the banners. Okay.
Yeah.
Disregard this picture. All right, but I will put up the banner. But on the site, you'll see good timing guide, consulting, prosperity. That top left corner is from the site, so you can see what's on there. But you can see the good timing guide. She's got 2021, 2022. There's all these things are available. Hi, let me put up the banner because I do.
And
There you
this is a
go.
good time to cut your schedule in half for October. So just
Yes.
schedule lightly, stretch things out, because then
Yeah.
you are creating time. Just
Right.
know that things might get canceled, they might get rescheduled. And so when you have space in your day, it's much easier to handle. It lowers the stress level tremendously.
Yeah, because one of the primary purposes of Mercury retrograde is to catch up. So it's pretty hard to catch up if you're going 90 miles down the highway of life. So it's a really good idea
Yeah,
to
and then
give
people
yourself a little more
yeah,
time during Mercury retrograde so you can catch up.
and even take that time to, like when you're scattered and you can just
Mhm.
journal and you can write things down and say, all right, I can't do all these things, but I can do one,
Right.
and
Right,
do that.
right.
So there's an opportunity to change the story and to focus on here's what I can do. This is
Right.
what I
Right.
can do during this cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is all right. So that was Madeline stuff, and here's Peg's stuff that we're going to be going by. I'll go back and forth with them with all the
Sure.
things that they do. Dream coaching. I want to touch on that. But still staying on these lines. And when you're talking in this book, there's so much. Again, it's just so cram packed with everything, and it is something to digest. And it's a lifestyle change. So the
Yeah.
vocabulary section, changing your vocabulary, for me, that would be a huge game changer. It will be a huge game changer.
Yes. There you go. See, you started already.
Right. You see how you catch that?
Yeah.
That's a great one to start with for
It
the
is.
game, for playing the game at the
And
end of the
the
book.
game
Yeah,
at
the
the end.
game at the end of
Yes.
the book. Yeah, it's a great one to start with, because we
Exactly.
so often use words that are not helpful to us.
Right. And you don't think of it.
Right.
It's like it's a societal thing, I think.
Well, that's exactly right. It is societal because everyone else is doing it. People often tell me, that, oh my gosh, you are so positive all the time. And it's, for them, it's more of a negative. But for me, it's just my natural way of being because, we have a choice and there are two ends of, every stick. So you can either spiral up or spiral down.
And choose your
And so you get to choose which world you want to be in, live in, play in. And it's not that things are running smoothly all the time, but generally obstacles are much easier to work through when you have a good attitude about it.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Exactly. That is it. And even if you cut negative people out of your life, we all know those people that it's constant gloom and doom and destruction and death and morbidity. And it's like, God, it's draining.
It is.
So, but you don't have to cut them out of your life. You just don't cue into it. Don't
Yeah, but if
allow
you're
them to
around that
trigger
all
you.
the time, it's tough.
Oh, yes, yes.
And don't agree with the story.
So notice it, and like I think I come from a large family. I have 8 brothers and sisters, and so there were 11 growing up. And I always say our families are a microcosm of the world. Everything happens in families, and they are our greatest teachers or tools. So if you think back to how you grew up, there's just lots of material there to work with.
Right.
And so we don't have to get upset over it, but we can work with it and use it as teaching tools and examples of what to do or what not to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And everything in here is fantastic. Now, there's a lot of people that would say, because this is a lot of, a manifestation type thing. And this was the big thing, just a short while ago. And now they've jumped that ship and moved on to the actual doing. Now, it's not that you're just totally thinking of something and making it manifest and come true. You have
at
a
all.
lot of working steps. So I want people to understand that that's not what this is. This is not that old bandwagon. Right? This is a combination of the both. This is putting the two worlds, the best of the two worlds together to make it work for you. And you have so many things. You have a site. There's a site in there that you go and you print out
worksheets,
contracts and worksheets, and you make a contract, a sacred prosperity commitment, with yourself.
Yes.
What do you want? And you put this out in writing to the universe. And then
yes, and we really, really hope that people will print out that sacred prosperity commitment, read it out loud, sign and date it, read it out loud every day for at least 30 days. So it starts to get into your consciousness, and it becomes more of a way of thinking and more of a way of your
and
perspective.
This is something that you're holding in your hand, other than just reading it in the book going, yeah, that's a good idea, and then you continue reading.
And it might be uncomfortable for people at first writing this contract, because many people, and I hear this all the time, they start off with what they don't want. I don't want this or that or whatever. And I'll listen to that. And I said, well, what do you want? Well, I just told you what I want. I said, no, you told me what you don't want. And then like, oh, I did. And then they'll say, I don't know what I want. I said, that's exactly right. And that's okay. But it's a great place to begin. When you know what you don't want, right, you can use that to flip it around and to begin to identify what you do want. And then sometimes what you do want, it feels very uncomfortable because it's so foreign.
Exactly.
People feel, that's not real. I'll never have that. So that's a belief. That's a story.
And then you put that out there, and that's what's gonna happen.
Right. So I say, okay, just come up to neutral. Wouldn't it be lovely to have that? Or wouldn't it be nice? So maybe, open to the possibility of those things, coming into your life versus pushing it away.
Now, Ashley, Sharon says, Ashley, that she doesn't, they're talking to each other in there.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So, all right. Go, talk amongst yourselves, sir. Don't let us stand in your way.
Sharon, go ahead. Well, and one of the things that's important to note is that the universe will never be able to send you anything that you don't believe in. So if you believe that you're always going to be poor, it cannot send you prosperity if you have that belief. You see, so a lot of it has to do with what we're putting out to the universe. Unconsciously, we're telling it, send me more of whatever experiences I'm talking about, thinking about, and feeling.
Right. And you do list a lot of those things too, like even how you handle money, the things that people say about money. Money doesn't grow on trees. How many millions of times have we heard that from our parents?
Money does grow on trees. People who have forests know that.
There's a perspective right there.
There's the whole list. There's the whole list that you go down that we've all said, and it's like, instead of saying that, say this. Instead of putting this, negative perspective out there, put the positive perspective.
And then it does take training. It takes awareness and consciousness and self-training, and then paying attention to the world around you. And so you can cue in to what other people are saying and doing. And that is a real learning in itself. And as Madeline said earlier, with a lot of the negative stories, just don't agree with them. Don't add to them. You don't have to disagree, and start an argument or anything. Just don't agree. But those stories help you, or they help me to understand where people are coming from.
Yeah.
So I understand that. So I'm not bothered by it. At all. It's just the way they are. And oftentimes I say, gosh, if they only knew. It's like when I ride around and I read a lot of the vanity license plates, some of the things people put on, I said, oh my gosh, if they ever knew what they were carrying around with themselves every day.
No, they don't. No, they honestly don't.
A couple of my favorites, in a town I lived in previously, there was one family, and it was a very busy family. They had 3 kids, and both parents had careers. The license plate on the mom's car was "I'm too busy."
Whoa.
Yes, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And then there was another one that would pull up to the house beside me. Oftentimes, she was a care worker. I'm asleep.
Oh!
And so I don't tell people these things. I only, do it when people ask or whatever, and not to interfere with anyone's choices or anything like that. But
No, my
the
front
world
plate
around
says
us it's a great resource for learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
P
No
Fox,
kidding.
so that's what mine says. But I don't have the vanity plate. Yeah, if I ever did, it would say P Fox. But I do. I see some funny ones too.
You're right.
Yeah,
And
I
we see some nice ones,
never,
I
I
see
never
more
thought of it that way.
kindness and trust and some
Yeah,
really good ones out there
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
So, nice, like like grandma love like ones.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
but some of them are just, oh my good God.
So training yourself to listen to the words that you're saying, the words that you're thinking, and it can be a long curve, but it doesn't have to be a long curve just to retrain yourself.
And it's
You know, just-
easier if you will work with one or two other people
Mm,
so that you listen to what the other person says. You have an agreement that you'll hear each other and
right.
tell each other when you hear something that's off track. So then you see the person might say to you, "Did you hear what you just said?" And I'll say, "No, what did I say?"
Right.
And then they'll tell me, right? And you do the same for them because we don't typically hear ourselves. We're used to our comments and our thoughts and the way that we speak, you see. So we don't hear it, but somebody else will hear it if they're watching and listening. And so it's easier to catch this stuff if someone else will listen for you and you listen for them.
Right. Like you and Mama D could be accountability partners.
Yes.
And it can
she
just be
tries to be for me.
a gentle, it can be a gentle process.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I do. With Mama D, I vent.
Okay.
And then I'm fine. And she'll just sit back. And the same thing. She'll do that, and she's funny because of her voice is so
Yeah.
high, and she always
Yeah.
sounds so sweet. But when she's angry, she still sounds sweet, but just louder.
Well, maybe
So
maybe there'll come a day when it's not necessary to rant. There's no ranting in there to come out.
That would be
because-
wonderful.
Yes,
That will
yes.
be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that will happen. I'm trying to be more conscious. I think the thing
Okay.
that
May I make a suggestion?
slow down.
No.
Don't say try.
Stop trying and just say I am. I am more conscious every day, or I'm becoming more conscious.
Okay.
I'm becoming.
Yeah. Yeah, lose the word try. It just gives you permission to fail.
Oh.
So don't use that word.
And the word should. Why should we not use the word should?
That's a red flag word.
Yeah, it's a heavy word.
Yeah.
Like, you should do this. It's like
the parent coming out and saying, "Wah!"
You should do this. Just let go of those and say, do this, or I am doing this. And if you switch it over to I am, it's much easier.
It's more of a choice, you see.
I'm making
learning
progress
curve.
every day. Oh, it is a learning curve. It gets easier. So it's a matter of you start.
Yeah.
And then it gets easier. And it can become a lot of fun. I remember one day years ago that I caught myself. I was telling one of my brothers, I was telling him something about when he retired, he wasn't going to come live with us. Because he fell asleep at 20 and he woke up at 40 and now he's 70. So he has had a good career for the last, 30 years or whatever. But I remember telling him, you are not going to come live with us, when we're retired. And, I'm working too hard. That's a mantra that I carried, or I have no time. And so then it's like, oh, no wonder I'm working so hard.
Yeah.
No wonder, because that's the story I carried. You have to work hard to be successful. I think that's what I was telling him at the time. Yeah. And then it was like, woo, bring those words right back.
Yeah.
So I
My
changed it
late
over to
husband used to do that. He used to say that work hard, work smarter, not harder.
right. Right. And
Always.
so I changed it over to a new mantra of I'm working less and prospering more.
Yeah, that's a much better
Oh my
one.
gosh,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that one. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need that one in my life.
yeah. I'm working less and
Yeah.
and then
And
you can switch up the routine. We don't need to be, chained to our desks all the time. In the morning
right.
now, most mornings when I'm on a regular schedule, I'll go out and walk or hike with a group of friends before I settle down and do my work for the day. I put me time in, and then I will do it for everyone else.
There you go.
And it can be
Don't
as
shoot all
simple.
Ashley, I like that. Don't shit all over people. You should do this.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good one.
That's
Shoot
correct.
all over
That's
people.
right.
Yeah. That's it.
That's a good one.
I was going to say, even something simple as your answer to how are you doing or how are you, it can make a big difference. At one point, I used to always say that I was busier than a beaver. And I just got busier and busier and busier and busier and busier. And finally I said, I better stop saying that. And I changed it to doing great. And now people might think that sounds fake, but it wasn't fake because I really was doing great. And so I just switched it and I did even better.
I fall into that pattern. I understand that. Friends will be calling me and I'm like, I can't talk. I'm so busy. I've got this. I've got that. I've got this. I'm doing that. I got to make this. I got to have deadline. I can't talk right now. And you fall into that rut.
Right.
And then you get so worked up over it too.
Right.
Mhm.
Can't is one of those words to let go of.
Yeah,
So
and
you
when
let
you're
go
done,
of
it's
what you
still with you.
can't do and then focus on what you can do. So if they call at an inconvenient time, maybe look at your calendar or whatever and say, I can talk to you at this time or on this
Mhm.
day. And, with clients when I'm scheduling things, this is when I can do it. I'm not
Mhm.
looking at when I can't do it. I'm looking for that opening of when I can do something because that is uplifting. It's moving things forward versus
Right.
shutting them down.
Right.
Yeah.
So now back to I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here because it just popped into my head. Now the feng shui for college students, the book that you wrote there.
Dorm room feng shui. Yes.
Yeah, let me put that book up here. Shoot, there we go. The dorm room feng shui. Now, did that help? Did you work with individual college students, and did it help them?
I did, and it
all
did.
aspects?
So, and what's interesting about that, so there's a couple of interesting processes with that book. First, I had, it was maybe about 5 years after I left my corporate career. And I remember when I left my corporate career, someone said, "Hey, what do you want to do? What's one thing you want to do?" And I said, "You know what? I'm going to write a book. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm going to write a book." And then I had a business partner at the time, and somebody came to her asking her if she would participate in writing a book for college students. And she said, "No, but I think my partner might." And so she put me in touch with them. And I said, "Sure, I'll do that." So it was a college student, her aunt, and myself. So we each
Mhm.
had specific parts. I put all the feng shui information together. Kate, the college student at the time, she brought the college perspective, and then her aunt was a writer, so she jazzed all the language up. So it was really neat. So when we met, we wrote a book proposal. And I think it was only one time, when we just sat down and we wrote a book proposal, and then we did a sacred ceremony. So this would have been about maybe 2003, late 2003 or 2004. So they were very conscious at the time, and they came to me. So we did a ceremony about it, and then we selected 2 agents and 3 publishing companies, and we wrote a letter and sent it off. And this was after, people. I didn't tell anybody I was writing this book, by the way. When I do projects, I like to keep them close because people have all different opinions, and I don't go there.
Yeah, you don't need
So I
to
didn't
clutter
tell
the
anybody.
brain.
But I would hear from people about how hard it is to get published. And then, I'm thinking, So we wrote these 5 letters and sent them off. And then Story Publishing called us. And then we went in and did a big presentation. Next thing we knew, they were giving us a contract. We were neophytes at the time, so we hired a literary lawyer to help us out, and so that we'd know what we were doing.
Right.
And then off it went. So it was an easy process. When the book came out, so we did. I have 4 case studies in there of working with college students. And when the book came out, one of my feng shui colleagues called. Well, I heard through the grapevine that she was upset, so I called her up, and she said, "I have been working on a book about feng shui for dorm rooms for 5 years."
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
And I said, "Well, your book is going to be a lot more meatier and a lot better research than mine." I said, "My book, it's just a fun little tool for college students to read through and get some ideas about how they could set up their room. It's meant as, it's very light and very easy. Yours is going to be much more profound." Well, her book never came out. Her work came out in different methods and different services, so to speak, and maybe chapter by chapter, but never that book that she had envisioned. So it's really interesting how things happen. And then when the attitude of it is so hard to get published. Well, yes, I understand that, but that's not the world I live in.
Right.
And so we can each choose
Right.
our worlds. And then with Madeline and I putting together Money is an Energy Game, we wrote this over 7 years because we were.
This is a hefty,
Well, it took us
heavy-duty
7 years.
book.
We allowed it to take 7 years. Let me put it that way.
I'm glad you did.
Because we were prior to this, we taught 3 programs: the 8 Keys to the Ultimately Prosperous Business, and then Conscious Language, and then take an energy inventory. We decided we'd like to kick it up a notch and take it to a larger audience. So we thought a book would be a good format to do that. And then I was, running my business. Madeline's running hers. I had 4 years teaching college, and,
Right.
and so things, life, gets busy, and meanwhile the world was changing rapidly. This was around 2010, 2011. Things changed, and so we would write. I'm in New Hampshire. Madeline's in Seattle. We would write over the telephone, of all things.
Yeah, literally.
Mama D and I are writing a book together, and
There
that's
you
what
go.
we do.
And that's how we did it. And we just work on it, and we evolved. And then business was changing so fast.
Yeah.
And so many of the examples, it was like, oh my gosh, these companies, so we had to go back and make sure that what we had was really accurate but we had a lot of material to work with. Things were rapidly changing, and it's about values, it's about integrity, it's about consciousness. And so business is becoming more conscious. There's much more sustainability in business, and businesses that are sustainable. I like to reference the B corporations, the benefit corporations. They have really blossomed over the last 10 years. There are many good companies out there that are doing wonderful work, and they're making money in a good way, which is really awesome. So,
and so what you have happening, you see, is everything is changing because the consciousness is changing. Everything starts with consciousness, right? And that really is one of the primary forms of energy. So when you really get right down to it, energy is at the bottom of everything. It's at the core of everything. And that's why we say money is an energy game, because it doesn't matter what you're looking at, touching, seeing, feeling. It doesn't matter. At the core of everything is energy. And so what we're really doing is trying to awaken people to the fact that their consciousness is creating whatever is showing up in their life, including their money.
I never thought of it, because we are aware. We talk about this a lot, metaphysically speaking, on this show, that aspect. Never did I reference it to money. I'd never even thought of that. It just.
And money can be an uncomfortable topic, for many, many people, particularly in social circles. Like, you never talk about money, but it's just energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just energy, and doing. So
what's hard about that
Yeah.
about the fact that it's just energy is that we're not trained to understand energy. And so it's not on our radar. It's not something we monitor. It's not something we're trained to think about. And yet, at every step of the way, energy is always the bottom line.
Yeah, it is. But I think, well, I think we're awakening more now towards that fact. Hi, Darlene, love you. Than we were before, prior to
Right.
Definitely.
the last 10 years. And you even talk about like soul families and things like that in there, where 20 years ago that'd be unheard of. All the talk and everything. You're like, what are you nuts? They'd be locking us all up. Right? And now it's more accepted, and now we have our realms. We are getting the word out there. There
That's
are
right.
so many books,
Yes,
and
yes.
things. But again, I'm just gonna say this again, ladies. Honest to God, this is everything. It is all of it combined. You can tell how hard you worked on this.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
with the
Well, I would say
charts,
we work steadily on it.
you
Yes.
worked, yeah, and you worked
For
well.
a long time.
Yes, you worked steadily for a long time,
We
really
did, and
well
finally said, you know
together.
what? We need to get this
Yeah.
out. There was a period of time when we felt we were ahead
Lots
of
of
the
dog
curve.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we were ahead of our time, that people weren't quite ready for it. But then over the last few years, it's like, we need to get this out. We need to wrap it up and
Yeah.
get it out.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect combination of the two of your skills,
Mm.
and you don't think of, what phase is the moon in, and what, should I, like right now we have a waxing crescent moon. So what does that mean for business? I don't know.
Well, when it's waxing, you see, when the moon is gaining in light, then it's easier to start things. So
Right.
people, if you can see the moon in the sky, so a couple of days after a new moon is actually better for starting
Right.
something new. Because at the new moon, the moon is dark, right? You can't see it. But from basically that point until you get to the third quarter moon, all those time periods are good for different aspects of business, including after the full moon. There's what we call a disseminating moon. It's a great time to distribute your ideas, your products, your services. It's a great time to be at a trade show, for example, or to hold a seminar,
So
or a webinar.
in 2 weeks, we're going to be at a show. Is that a good time?
Perfect.
There you go. And it's a
Yay.
good time. The third quarter moon is a good time to let go of clutter, to release
Right.
excess, go on a diet, release what you don't need. And I write a newsletter for Feng Shui Connections once a month. And I always talk about the new moon and the full moon and correlate it to one area, just to keep it simple. I give you an area to work on every month, and it's in conjunction.
Is that on one of those sites?
Yep, Feng Shui, FENG. So,
Oh.
and Peg at Feng Shui, FENG, Connections.com.
Can you tell I did this fast?
Yep, that's
I can tell you did it during Blue Communications.
if anyone just plugs into the internet, Madeline or myself, then they will come up with things.
You got it.
Yeah,
you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can just sign up for the newsletter, and it comes out once a month, and right around the first of every month. It's the only email I send all month.
Okay. And PolarisBusinessGuides.com. Now you have, all right, so you have the complete guide, the Idiot's Guide to Astrology. So that would be something that, someone like me would need. And then, but then the newsletter and the updates and everything, that's what we really need.
Right.
I highly recommend those. I really do.
For just everyday.
Yeah. Yeah. You see the Good Timing Guide has a lot of, has a bunch of colors in it, right? Now this is 2022. But so you can kind of get an idea here that it's color coded, and there's a lot of different things that can be represented by those colors, you see. So the newsletter gives you detailed information about how to use those energies optimally, and when there's challenges, how to best handle them.
Yeah.
So that you kind of have an inside track, right?
And that's key. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like I feel like you're doing all the energy in the house. You're doing all the outside energy
in the universe.
That's exactly right.
Well, at least in the solar system.
That's exactly right.
Right?
And then, so the
Bringing that
energy in
in.
the house. So feng shui, it's like a dance between you and your environment. So you can start on the outside, which is say your house or your office or whatever, or you can start on the inside, which is yourself. But ultimately, you're going to end up doing both. So it's a dance between the outer and the inner worlds. And then we have the outer
And then,
world with all the planets. But the planets affect us on an inner level. So it's always this dance back and forth between our outer and inner selves. It's fascinating.
it really is. And I
Yeah.
want to talk about the age of Aquarius that we just jumped into. But before that, so like kind of what I was getting to was that if you're doing the house and you're doing the universe, there's also the physical, our body. And you also have tapping.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
have a video, there's a site that comes with the book that you can go and you can watch.
That's right. It's an audio recording. So the tapping is acupressure. So it's tapping various meridians or acupressure points, because what happens is our beliefs that come from our parents and our grandparents and how we grew up and all of our accumulated life experiences, present and past, they are held in our cells, in our body. So they're below the level of the mind. So we don't understand them, but they're there. But they drive your emotions and they drive what's happening. And so it's your belief system. So reading the book and working with the methods that we talk about, and they're simple methods, but it's, adding up over time, you will recognize your beliefs. And so the tapping, it's a 45-minute session, is to release commonly held beliefs about money being scarce, or money being hard to come by, or you'll never have enough, or you won't have enough to pay your bills, whatever it is. So taking the time to do that tapping helps to release those beliefs, release that grip.
And really, you need that. Yeah, you need that process, because otherwise you can think it all day, but while you're holding the emotions in your body of scarcity and feeling fear or anxiety around never having enough, that is actually the vibration you're sending out to the universe. And so that is what the universe keeps sending back to you. And that's why the releasing blockages and doing the tapping is so important, because it's very, very hard to release this stuff without doing some type of release work.
Right. And you might think you're changing. You might say, well, I'm thinking good thoughts. but
physically, if you're still like this.
Yes, that's exactly right. So
pay
pay attention to what is showing up every day. You should pay attention, because that's the real deal.
Right.
What you're manifesting. And every one of us is driving it. Our beliefs are driving it. Our emotions are driving it. Our stories are driving it. So taking responsibility in a nice way, in a kind way. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up over all of this. Just wherever you are is the perfect starting point. And that's why we make it a game to have fun with it.
Yeah, the game. I love the game. I love that. I love how the game.
And so that's a good starting point, is the release. But then the last 6 chapters, or most of the last 6 chapters, are about how you are physically impacting your prosperity from your sleep, the food you eat, whether you're exercising or moving. What kind of conversations you're having or information you're taking in, what kind of emotional situations you're in, your spiritual practices, and so forth. And all of that together impacts your money on a daily basis. But we're not aware of it, but it's all part of your energy. Your energy, you can't be prosperous when you're exhausted. Right? You don't have enough energy to attract something good.
Right.
So
it has to start here. Every journey starts with one step. And it does have to start here. And if you are a slug on, and you write a lot about that too. When you want to go to bed, when you're getting up, is the first thing you do is you're going to grab your phone. You're going to check this. That. It's like, enjoy nature around you, taking what's around you, taking your environment, taking your sights before you pick up that phone.
Don't take your phone to bed with you.
And
keep it
Yeah,
outside in your
goodness.
bedroom. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
You know.
my phone is off when I go to bed, but I do need to have a television on while I'm sleeping. It has to be on something mundane and something that I don't really want to watch, but I need that. Otherwise, I can't shut my brain off.
Ah.
Well,
And
maybe
it's
someday
really
that will
tough.
change.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have
Maybe that story will change.
I can shut my brain off and I can shut the TV off and I can, I'm going to try this. But I'm going to build up to that point,
Right.
It's a kickoff point. It does make you think about every single aspect of your life, every
It
day,
does. It
every
does.
step of
Because
the
our
day.
lives are an accumulation of choices. They are
Yeah.
our choices. Nobody does anything to us. Although we may think that people do things to us, they don't. We do it to ourselves. And
Yeah.
it's our energy. Your energy is the basis of what's happening in your life. And so it is fun when you think about it. And when you can laugh about certain things, just, oh gosh, I had no clue. And that's okay. So be
I
kind,
know. I
be
love
kind
it
to
when
yourself.
that light bulb goes off, and it's just, you never think of something in this way. And then all of a sudden, it's like you can't unlearn it.
Right.
That's right.
And then,
Okay. And so once you know it, then you are responsible.
Right.
So when you don't
you're
know
a
it,
little baby,
you're
and then
ignorant,
that's it.
ignorant in a kind way. You just don't know. You're not aware. That's okay. Once you become aware, you then have a responsibility to do something about it.
Right. And
Because
then
the
you can be an
universe will bite you
example.
back.
Right?
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
a tendency of doing that.
One of my
Yep.
teachers has a saying, if you don't pay attention to the whispers, you have to listen to the screams.
I
So the
like
whispers
that.
start way out here in all these different energy fields that we have. And when we don't pay attention to the signals and the signs that are showing up, you might end flat on your back, sick.
Yeah.
Or in a terrible accident,
Yeah.
or you have a heart attack, or you have a stroke, or some
You
terrible
lose
thing.
your job, a job that you
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah, you lose your job, your
Yeah.
your marriage dissolves, or whatever.
Right. So, see, glad you got on this time. You need this book. Everybody needs this book. This book is just phenomenal. It truly, truly is. I mean, just not only about the things that we're talking about and laughing about. It's a serious, serious subject, and whatnot. But there's just so many things that they are hitting home. You're printing out so many things. You're printing out guides for you to do. Watch your food,
Yes.
watch your emotional patterns, watch your, all these things. And it'll say print out 7 of them, and check it every day, and see what the
Right.
difference is.
So
And
take an energy inventory. So what we have is it's a 6-week program, but you can do it over 6 months if you want.
Yeah,
And you
really.
can do it in
Yeah,
any order. But what's important is just to pick one area. We suggest you start with sleep because sleep is
8 hours a day
yeah,
theoretically.
when you go to sleep, your body is healing itself. At night, your
Right.
consciousness is going off to find answers for you. So sleep is very, very important. You can start with sleep, and all you're doing is you're jotting down when you go to sleep, what you ate before you went to sleep, what time you go to sleep. So you do that, yes, over a 7-day period, just to notice the patterns.
And then how you feel in the morning,
Yes.
you see. And so if you're energized, you're going to have a much better day.
absolutely.
Right? Much
Yes.
better day.
When you wake up tired, you're not
Yeah.
going to have a good
Yeah.
day.
Well, it's harder, right? It's harder. And if you wake up with that sort of fog in your head, and you have a hard time getting rid of it, then you're not at your peak productivity, shall we say.
That's
Right.
right. And we do the same thing for food. So on
Yeah.
Food Week,
Yeah,
it's
all
not
the
about
food
going on a
and
diet. It's not about counting calories. All you're doing is noting what food you ate, when you ate them, and how you feel, say before and after. And you do
Yeah.
that for a week. You just notice the patterns. During that week, you may become more conscious of
Yeah.
what you're doing. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, does it make you feel energized? Or did it make you sleepy or sneezy or watery eyes or something like that?
We can't blame it all on the COVID lockdown.
That's
No.
right. And there's a week exercise. I think of exercise as movement. It's not, exercise as a burden. It's movement. What are you doing to move your body every day? Just jot that down.
Yeah, because you're moving your energy, right?
One of the things I do is my husband and I both work on the second floor of our house. I told him years ago, you are not bringing the coffee pot up to your office. I said, the whole idea is movement. No. I said, when you want a cup of coffee, you go downstairs and bring it up. It's to get him out. And now he has since moved to a standing desk. So
good for him.
Yeah. So his desk goes up and down, and he's realizing, he's shifting that way. And so, but the whole idea was, and I love going up and down the stairs of my house. I always want a house with stairs.
Me too.
Many of our friends are moving to houses that are
between floors. So
a one level. But I think for me, I want to retain the ability to go up and down stairs all the time.
Yep.
I want to do that. So we have a week on movement. We have a week on thought, just writing down, your thoughts and what's happening. So mental.
And what kind of conversations? What kind of conversations you had and stuff.
People.
Right. And what kind of things you saw on TV or read or internet, whatever.
I have a huge cup. I know. My coffee in the morning is not this.
Oh, so if you had a smaller cup, you would go up and down the stairs more often.
I would. In my wait, it gets better. My first cup is delivered to me. So
wow!
It's like, I love that. It's like
that's very nice.
And then it's like I wake up and I look over and I get my coffee and it's like, yay!
Yeah, there you go. So gratitude. You're expressing gratitude. Gratitude is one of the aspects that we write about in the book. It is so important.
It really
and just natural gratitude. Just being grateful, being appreciative of all the good things and people doing things for you, and then it gets catchy, and what goes out comes back. And this is why we say pay your bills with joy, pay them with gratitude, because as you are sending that money out into your community and out into the universe, more is going to flow back to you.
Right.
Because you're making other people prosperous too, right? As you send that out, you want other people to prosper from you paying your bills.
Exactly, that's their business, right?
And then
they're kind enough to give you electricity. You should all
right. And then as they prosper, you see that's a multiplication, and then it prospers from there and comes back to you.
Right. And then they have to pay all their employees, and then they, and
that's exactly right.
Right.
And so right now we're in a situation, in the USA where costs are going up. Everything's a little bit more. So you can either be angry about that or be in despair about it and say, okay, well, that's the way it is. So, I know I'll have more than enough resources to cover those and more. So a big benefit of this is that employees are being paid more. They're being like the wage. It didn't come through government, but it's coming through business. Wages are rising. The minimum wage. That's good for people, and that will help people become more prosperous.
Yep.
Right there. So there's benefits to all of this. Yeah.
There really is. There really is. And then again, if these businesses had Madeline's
timing,
that really would work well.
That's
why I ended up doing the Good Timing Guide. I had been working in the corporate world a long time, and I watched some very, very big, major boo-boos. and these were like $1 million boo-boos, $1 million mistakes, okay? And it finally occurred to me that, hey, if here we are, the top company in our entire industry, and we're making $1 million mistakes, what else is happening out there around the world? Is it billions of dollars or trillions of dollars that are wasted every year because of bad timing? It's a big number, whatever it is.
It sure is. And
in
the late 70s, early 80s, my husband and I, we rode together to work. So anyone in the Boston area, if you were working during that time and listened to a particular radio station, the Cosmic Muffin was on
Oh
every
yes,
morning.
I remember the Cosmic
Oh,
Muffin.
okay. We listened to
Yeah.
the Cosmic Muffin every morning, and boy, I would pay attention to those void moons, and I would go in and I would know what kind of a day I had. Well, Madeline's Guide makes it much easier, and you can plan ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I
all
knew
about that. Oh my
how
God.
to work around those void moons. I didn't tell anybody in business I was doing this at all. And
No.
then for over 20 years, my husband and I we would we felt like we were sneaking out of work at least once a year because we would go visit our astrologer and we would have our charts read together. You know, his chart, my chart, and then a joint chart. And that gave us a roadmap for the year. We used it before we got married, you know, just to know each other's personality and how to grow together first.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you do
And
that,
so,
Madeline? Do you
Yes. I do individual charts as well as business charts.
yes.
Okay.
So businesses can come to me and find out about how to proceed in the particular economy we're in for a year. And, you know, are they in a growth mode? Are they in a consolidation mode? Are they, you know, hiring or not, et cetera, you know?
Yeah.
And if you want a particular date to get married or to sign a contract on a
Yeah.
house or whatever, Madeline does dates like that as well.
Yeah, I
Dates
do
and surgery.
timings.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
timing.
do custom timings for people.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
they know really good days and times to start a company
Yeah.
or sign contracts, et cetera.
Some clients were celebrating their 10th anniversary not too long ago, and they reminded me that I put them in touch with Madeline for their wedding date. So that was fun. So they said it
Right.
must have worked.
Right? Yeah. We'll celebrate an anniversary.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. And then also, you, Peg, you do clearings too, like
I do.
from a distance.
I
So
do long distance clearings. So I
clearings.
do what's called I call them personal clearings, and other people call them entity clearings. So I do these personal clearings. I do space clearings. So I do clearings of negative energy for people and spaces. And
she's done a number of them for me, and even for my town. We had a number of fires one time, and I said to Peg, I better have you clear this place, this town, because it's, you know, it's fire here, fire there, fire there. It's just like something's wrong here.
Yes, I mean, today I cleared a woman.
Full of spirits.
And I clear people all over the world. It was somebody in South Africa today. Yesterday it was somebody in Australia. I mean, they just contact me, and then I get some of the most amazing notes of gratitude, really, of just how what shifted for them. I don't ask for those. They come in unsolicited, and that's what keeps me going with it, because it's so gratifying just to be able to do this and know that it shifted somebody's life. So it's not, I don't think of it as me doing the work, but the work is happening through me, and then it just goes out. So it's so personal clearings, space clearings. I do the tapping, you know, the emotions. So the tapping, I do it over the telephone. And I do it over the telephone because I record it. And then everybody will get an MP3 file. Maybe it's MP4 these days. And then you can do it multiple times on your own.
Wow.
Yeah, and some things need to be cleared more than once.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you're likely to, you know, clear things in the same way that you peel an onion. So there's frequently layers of it. Yeah.
Many people have a personal clearing as well as an emotional freedom and healing release session.
Right. So, because there's cord cutting ceremonies, and there's things like that, because people get attachments, and you know, there's a difference between having an entity in your house and a personal attachment.
Oh, absolutely. And you
all
can
these things that
you pick these up unknowingly. You know, it might be it hitchhiked home, you know, with you if you were, you know, and it could be anywhere. Anywhere.
There are more dead people on the planet than there are living. That's what I always say.
I clear spirits.
Wherever you go.
And years ago, you know, when I first, you know, I got involved with clearing spirits, and this will be in space clearings, but also entities can be spirit energy. It was for me, it was a little spooky. Like, you know, I was doing a survey for a property that I was visiting the next day, and I have like a 4-page survey I'll do for properties just to find out what kind of energy there is. When I came to spirits, I was like, oh, the spirit's here. And it's like, am I supposed to clear that? ghost. Yep, you're supposed to clear it. And my method through this is dowsing. So the next day, when I showed up at the property, the woman is walking me around and orienting me to it. And then one particular part on the property, she pointed and said, and that's where the brothel was during the Civil War.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
and it just, a chill went right through my body and said, okay, I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah, because I do that. I mean, I go to haunted locations. I take people to haunted locations. Do all those investigations. So I know the majority of the histories of the places where we go. Some people want to know, some people don't want to know. They want to see if they can pick up on things or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know? But the most important thing is to realize that they were people.
Right.
That had a life, and that was their life. Whether it was sad and that they had to work in a brothel, or maybe they liked working in the brothel. Who knows?
Yeah, and I was trained not to get into any of the stories. A story is just a story. Yeah. So
if you're going to
clear the energy, and early on, people would say, "Oh, what did you find?" I said, "Well, I was trained not to get into any story, so I don't go into the story. I just ask if the energy is present, then I clear it. I ask for permission. You always have to have permission to clear this. I ask for permission to clear the energy."
Hi, Karen. Yeah. So I love you, but we are trained to find the stories, and what we do work is kind of like a counselor almost.
Yes.
We'll commune with the spirit, we'll commune with the people, and we'll find the happy medium. If they can live together, if they can work together, the spirit might just have one thing that they just want.
Oh, and that's awesome. That's right.
Don't take that wallpaper off. All right.
That's right.
All right. It could be something just that simple, and they'll leave the people alone.
That's right.
But I mean, you never know, but that's what we do is we find out.
That's right.
And then if, one or the other can't live together, like, no, I am going to take that wallpaper down. I don't care what you say. Right. And then the spirit's going to get angry, and then it's going to be a confrontation.
Right.
And so one or the other has to go.
Right.
So that's that,
Right.
But then sometimes, we can get rid of them, but other times we have to have someone that's impartial, like I would call someone like you. I would call like Michael Robichaud, a shaman, and say remotely remove this.
Right. That's how it happens, because it's all energy, and that's how we work remotely. That energy knows no boundaries, so to speak. It just goes. So it's just fascinating, and it's not that I intended to do this work years ago. It just evolved with time.
I know. You just and it is. You are going to be what you are meant to be. I do believe that. And you do mention Akashic Records.
Yes. Maureen St. Germain trains Akashic Records guides, and they do amazing work. Yeah.
Right. So again, I think, we have our paths laid out, and, and everyone has you two were purposely put together. There's something like this to help so many.
Right. And it's so funny how it happened, because it wasn't, I think it was either the second or third time that sort of Madeline flew by my screen or whatever that year. Somebody brought it to my attention. Hey, Madeline's looking for, a feng shui practitioner. Did you see that? So it had, and I have always been trained to recognize in my own life. I tell, spirit of the world, okay, make it obvious to me. Tell me 3 times. So I know by the third time, if something shows up, I need to pay attention. So, I might miss it the first time, but the second or third, it's like, okay, I get it.
I know. Sometimes, it's like you get that gentle nudge. We're always at, trust your instincts. Those are,
that's right.
Direct communications from your spirit guides, from the universe, from whatever you want to call it. Trust those instincts. If it's telling you don't leave now, wait 5 minutes.
That's right.
And don't wait for that thump on your head, because then it might be too late.
That's right.
Right.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is the
and that actually, that word trust is one of the big keys to being able to manifest or create whatever it is that you want to create. Because if you don't trust that it can happen, if you don't believe that possibility really exists, you cannot possibly create it. And so trust is one of the big factors that we discuss in the book, so that people can understand. It's not a matter of what Peg calls dipping your toe into the water. That's
right.
not going to work.
That's right.
Right. But I believe what Taryn's saying here too. Everyone is putting our lives for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mama D, we eventually meet those who we are supposed to. I mean, Mama D and I are as close as like you two.
That's
Like
right.
I've known
That's right.
her for years. Like I had her on my show. We were on her show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I had
Yeah.
a different
Cool.
host, and then I was doing the show by myself, and then I had her on the show again. I said, you know what, you should just come on because we got along so well. I'm like, you should just come on and go host a couple times with me.
Oh, that's
See how
awesome.
you
That's
feel.
great.
Cool.
And then she's never left. It's like
Very
But that's a
cool.
good thing, right? Yeah.
it's a
That's
very
a good
good
thing. You have a
thing.
synergy back and forth. And so
Yes.
when people come into your life and you're wondering what's going on, you might ask, I wonder what this is about. So you just hold the situation loosely and just say, I wonder what this is about. Tell me what this is about. And then the situation reveals itself.
Yeah. And a lot
And
of
then
times
sometimes
at night.
sometimes people have a choice that they're trying to make. And one of the tools that we put in the book was the prayer of leading.
Oh, I
And
love that prayer.
the prayer of leading is universe, or whatever word you want to use. If this is for me, expand it. If not, take it away. And within a very short period of time, you'll know the answer.
That's true.
Yeah. So if this is for me, expand it. And if not, take it away.
And so that's a good one to use if you're job hunting and to be at ease with jobs that you don't get or jobs that go away, because something better is coming. Always know that something better is coming.
That recently happened to me, and I was just like, I want to get into this company, but there was a really lesser job, and they even said I'm way overqualified for it, but I wanted to just get my foot in the door. But in the back of my mind, I knew I really didn't want this job.
There you go. That's exactly right.
And I didn't get it. They were just like, this, you won't be happy here.
Yes.
I'm not doing that job.
So 21 years ago, I left a corporate career. I didn't intend to. I intended to take 6 months off. Well, that 6 months has turned into 21 years because I took the 6 months and, I kept getting offers for jobs. My heart wasn't in it. So I put it off. And then it just wasn't there. And then it evolved. So the feng shui piece evolved, and all of my independent work evolved out of that.
All falls into perfect timing, perfect place, because it's.
And my dad asked me one time, "Hey, is there a market for feng shui?" And I said, "In New Hampshire, is there a market in New Hampshire for feng shui?" I said, "Dad, the market is wide open." Meaning it's here to be created. Yeah. And so I started a school. I had a feng shui school for 7 years where I taught practitioners.
That's awesome.
Not in fear that, hey, they were going to compete against me, because there really is no competition. We're all unique.
You know what? There really isn't. This is what drives me crazy in the world. It really, really does.
It's fear. Fear is the basis of that.
Yeah, and the pettiness of it.
Yes,
it's
there's no need for it.
Because there's plenty of room on the top for everybody. There really is.
Well, and in a situation like this, you need a bigger choir. If you're a lone wolf, no one is likely to hear that message. But if you have a bigger choir, if there's multiple astrologers, multiple feng shui people out there trying to get that message out, a person has a better chance of running into that message. You see, so it's not a matter of competition; it's a matter of being in the choir.
And also to take this back to money, there's more than enough money out there. There's a lot of money. So it's just getting your share of it to come to you.
Right. And
attracting it.
Who was it, Taryn? What? Yeah. So what if you're winning the lottery and hunting? When that's kind of mentioned in here in the book about lottery, wherever the money's going to come from, whether you're going to hit the lottery or whatever it is,
you might.
If
you can.
Yes, you can. This out there that you need this money, then it's going to come. But things do fall into place. It fell into your place getting a home.
Right. Yes, it did. Yes.
My house to getting this.
Yes.
Home.
Yeah.
Right. And you may not actually get the money per se. You might get the item, whatever the item is. I had an assistant who was really wanting furniture, Now, she didn't ask for money, but she was thinking she needed money to get the furniture. But what she got was a client moved into like an assisted living and gave her furniture. You see,
Wow.
so she manifested the furniture, not the money.
And this is why we say focus on the essence of what you want.
Right.
The end
Right. Be
result.
specific. Yes.
Right. The end result of what you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can win a lottery, but let me just also mention that wouldn't it be great if what you were really focused on was doing whatever it is that you love and bringing in money doing it.
Yeah.
You see, because then you're contributing to the greater whole, which is really everyone's purpose.
And that's what many of the new businesses are doing these days. So what I call the ones that started by the kids. The kids are in their 20s and 30s now.
Yeah.
They're doing wonderful businesses. They're ethical businesses. They have a lot of integrity, and they
I
are
think there's a
making
gap.
money.
I think there's a gap in between though. I think from like around our generation, we're worker bees, right? Then they had the entitled bunch.
Yes.
And then I think we get past beyond the entitled bunch, the younger crew again are going to get back into the workers.
Yeah. So it's generational changes that are going on right now.
Right.
Right.
Now what does the age of Aquarius now? How is this going to change everything for us?
Okay. That's actually a great question because this change occurred on December 21st of last year in 2020.
Right.
And as best we can tell, now, first, I want to preface this by telling you that whenever there's an age change, it takes somewhere between 250 to 300 years to do an age change. So during this time, and so, at least the last, 50, 60, 80 years, we've been sort of in this period where we're transitioning or we're starting to transition into Aquarius. And while we're at the beginning period of Aquarius, we're still finishing up the age of Pisces. So you've got both pieces happening at the same time.
How long has that song been out? This is the dawning of the
age. Age of Aquarius, yeah. It was in the 60s, wasn't it?
60s, yeah. I love
60s,
that.
yeah.
50 years ago.
Yeah, 50 years ago, yeah. So the age of Aquarius, and I just want to remind everybody that whenever there's an age, whatever that age is, there's a sign that's opposite that age, right? And it's the balance between the two that makes it work. So Aquarius is opposite of Leo. So this is a balancing of two different signs together. So Aquarius is all about knowledge and consciousness. So the water bearer, he's pouring out not water. He's not pouring out water. He's pouring out consciousness. It's an air sign, right?
Right.
So it's about consciousness and knowledge and different ideas, different ways of doing things, higher technologies, if you want to call it that. One of the things we'll see a lot with Aquarius is artificial intelligence. That's really big at the moment. And so Aquarius is also associated with groups. And one of the things that groups are made up of is individuals, the Leo. And see, the Leo has to be expressing its own creativity in order for it to function correctly. But if the group shuts down the individual creativity, then the group eventually dissolves because it doesn't have the input from the creative part of the Leo, from the individual. It needs the creativity from the individual to make the group function at its optimum. So you can't have one without the other, basically.
Yin and the yang, right? So
well, yeah, it's a balance.
Interrelated.
Yeah.
Right, interrelated, because the group is getting its ideas from the individuals.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't that make sense?
Right.
And what?
Makes sense.
And it's energy.
Yeah, and it's energy. Yes.
Individuals bring energy, and then it's a group energy. So it's always this back and forth, giving and receiving.
Right. And so the age of Aquarius, and actually I also want to mention here that this started a whole new type of economy on December 21st as well. So for the next 199 years, we're having an air economy. And we were in an earth economy. So an earth economy was all about agriculture and manufacturing and services and financial products. So you kind of had that transitioning going on throughout the last 100 and, I don't know, 80 some or 90 some years. It started in 1842, and then it just ended in December. So this is going to happen for the next 199 years, that we're going to have an air economy. So that's all about relationships and technologies and
I was just thinking the
data.
technology. Think of all the technology going through the air, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
How does
right.
the internet
Yeah.
work?
This
Where
right
is
here.
the internet?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we're all
Yeah.
connected globally, right? Through the
Yeah,
air.
exactly. And it's also related to transportation and data. That's the Gemini part of it. And the
Maybe we'll
relationship.
teleport.
Yeah.
I can
They
hardly
actually
wait.
have that. The Chinese
Yeah.
have actually done that. They've actually
Teleported.
They teleported an apple.
We're getting close.
Yep.
We're getting close.
Yep.
So, well, and now you know you're already watching 3D printers print
Right, right.
I have
human body parts,
So
airplanes.
it's coming out of the air.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Makes sense.
So so technology is the Aquarius part, and the relationships. You know, when you go to your grocery store, if you're a loyal member, they'll give you a discount for buying this product or whatever. That's a relationship type, type situation. So
Right.
so all those things are going on, and it's not that you're going to stop growing food. No, you're not going to stop growing food. You're not going to stop manufacturing cars or something of that nature, but you're going to use technology and data and transportation in new ways to grow the economy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all of our automobiles and all that, everything is based on technology right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, some of these cars are
Yeah.
incredible, and
Right.
even you can get a pizza delivered. But
yeah, there you go. That's a perfect example. Yeah. So that's, it's a whole different type of economy that we're growing for the next 199 years. And we've been transitioning to it for the last 20. And we're going to do a little more transition for the next 20. And then it'll
even
be better.
even money is air. All the whole digital
Yeah.
economy.
Oh
It's
yeah,
all happening.
digital. Yeah.
It's all happening through the
and
air.
everything,
Huh.
all that,
Yeah.
everything will be digital at one point. I
Right.
don't know if it will be in our lifetime, but it will be.
It's getting there.
So, paper money will be, a thing of the past. Which
Right.
I just think we should get rid of money altogether. But I know you need to have something.
Well, you're basically exchanging energy when you exchange
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You're exchanging energy. So how can you exchange energy with another person? That's the question you want to answer. And it doesn't have to be money per se. We hear these stories that the ETs trade technology all the time, but they don't trade money. They trade technologies. Right?
And it's something. It's something. It's tit for tat.
Yeah.
Caveman. I'll give you this, and I'll give you.
Oh,
Right.
you exchange
give me food,
services. You trade.
barter and trade,
Right.
and then they put.
Right.
Then someone decided to make a coin, and then someone decided to make paper money, and then give it different values, and then the government stepped in.
Yeah.
And all went to hell from there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what what do you think? All right, let's talk about government for a second. What if government ran things more along the feng shui and the astrological lines?
Well, we don't know if they're using some of this in certain places. We don't know, but I do think that what you're watching is the consciousness of the government. And over time, the government will have to increase its consciousness because the consciousness of the population will increase. And then it has no choice. It has to represent the people.
Well, government is
Well,
made up
hopefully
of
it'll be the
people.
majority, right?
Same thing
Yeah.
with corporations. Corporations are made up of people. All of this is made up of people. So as individuals change, then the groups that they represent will also change.
Yeah, and if you can get all those people along the same mindset,
Yes.
then then they have
Yeah. Yeah, everything starts with consciousness. You can
Right.
never create something outside of the consciousness that you have. And so that's why wasn't it Einstein who said something about you can't solve a problem at the same consciousness it was created
Right.
in. You have to move to a higher level of consciousness to
Right.
solve it.
I'll always remember years ago, my daughter was telling me, and actually, I think it was after you had visited us, Madeline, and you had come to dinner. And my daughter was young at the time. She told me that night, "Mom, remember when we were riding up to the lake in the car, and I was wearing my little brown hat? I was sitting in the back seat. I was reading a book." She said, "All of a sudden, I was watching myself reading the book." So she,
Wow.
as a young child, realized that she was not her. She was outside of
Really?
herself, her consciousness. And I said, always hang on to that. Always
Right.
hang on to that feeling of what it felt like and that awareness of what it felt like. I said, because that is very real. See, because children are very open, and we're all psychic and we all have intuition, but children are very open until they're about 8 or 9 years old. And that's around 8 or 9. That's, they start building a shield to live in the world because people start telling them,
Well, yeah,
those imaginary, they're not
exactly,
real. That's not real. And so
exactly, and
we
then it
put up
goes away.
protection. We put up layers of protection. And then what I've found is by the time people are in their late 30s, 40s, they're taking all that off because they started showing up in my
Yeah, because they
classes
said
or they come to
what you
work.
said,
They're letting go of all those
yeah,
layers, those
that's
shields that we have
yep,
carried. And then you get
yep,
into
Right.
your 50s, 60s, 70s, and you feel much more free and liberated. So wouldn't it be nice when we don't have to put up those shields, when we can live a
yeah,
more conscious life from the get-go?
right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sha-
Definitely.
Sharon's
Yeah.
asking this question: do they believe that clones are being made have consciousness?
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
great
that's a great
That's a
question.
great question.
Yeah, I don't actually know how they do that. And it's always been a question to me because at some point, what's going to happen to the clone? The clone has to somehow have some level of consciousness in order to function, right? And
Well,
so,
they say about the soul. You know what I mean? It's like when you're born, you're born with a soul, and they're saying that
right,
the clone is born with no soul.
right.
I don't think a being could live without a soul.
Right. So your
So I
your
think they
soul
have
is
a soul.
consciousness.
Yeah.
At least
Well,
that's the way I
yeah.
understand
Well, I'm
it. Our
just saying
soul
it's
is
soul,
consciousness.
consciousness, your inner being, your energy.
Well, and
I
that
just don't think
clone
a
is going to
living
figure
being
out.
could live without it.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great question.
Yeah,
You know?
and the clone is, of course, learning and experiencing all the time. So it's going to have a set of memories that it develops over time.
Yeah, it's
And,
different
and
than
so
it's supposed.
But will it
different.
develop a consciousness? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. How can you do that without having consciousness? I don't know how you can do
I
that
know that's a whole nother
without.
show.
Yeah.
But that's a great
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah, it is.
That would be. I'd like to look into that and see, how that goes. But I don't think it should be allowed, honestly, unless you're going to clone my little Lacey little.
Oh, I know it's terrible. But we know your dog can come back to you. Your
Oh, she
dog
has.
can. Yeah,
Yeah, she
absolutely.
sent me 2 signs already because one morning I woke up and I mean I'm really OCD cleaning, and after she passed, I vacuumed everything. I get the dog fur up and I had rugs in areas because she didn't walk on the hardwood floors. She had to walk on a rug, so I'm switching rugs around and everything. I get up in the morning and I sleep with this little dog that looks like her.
Oh,
So I sleep and I look and I was just like, oh, Lacey, I really love you and I really wish you would leave me a sign. And don't I get up and I put my foot down and I step on a piece of her food.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
right there, right?
Oh my
And that
God.
was the little life bit. So there's like a dark spot in her food. She didn't like those life
Ah.
bits. She used to always spit them out.
Wow.
And then the next week, I was again feeling like, oh my gosh, I just miss my Lacey. I'm like, oh, can I please have a sign from Lacey? Please send me a sign. I was really kind of begging for it. I was really kind
Yeah.
of desperate. I just posted this on Facebook. I went downstairs to fill my coffee up. And instead of walking from the kitchen through the living room and back up the stairs, back up to here, I went around through my dining room. I don't know why, but what happened? I stepped on another piece of food, but this time it was a food that was her regular food. Now I don't have any food left in here. I gave it all to my, Bob's sister because she's got dogs. So I
How
gave
did that end up
everything.
there? That's pretty
And
wild, isn't
I
it?
know, and I have vacuumed, big vacuum, little vacuum,
Yep.
like a fiend.
Things happen. Sometimes things just happen.
Right? So I know she's with me.
Yeah.
I've even seen the impression on the bed where she sleeps,
that,
Oh
It's like,
man.
oh my God, but I do, this house is like a magnet. It
Yeah.
truly is. There's a lot of spirits going on, actually more than I knew, because I had a friend come over and we did a little investigation.
Mhm.
Wow, there's a lot going on. We got stories of all kinds of things going on.
Wow.
So much.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
much. Yeah, I did post a lot of that stuff. So if you guys follow me, then you would hear that. But I don't want to talk about all that. But I just wanted to say, that Lacey definitely is with us. What do we got for time left here? Oh, we're down to our last 10 minutes. All right.
Wow.
So off of that shiny ball, and let's get back to this shiny light bulb.
The light bulb.
The light bulb. Good segue. Who chose the cover?
Well, actually, I knew the person who does my Good Timing Guide covers. We asked him to come up with a cover. That was the first one he came up with, and we
loved
said,
it.
"We like this.
We don't need any more.
Yeah, this is good."
He hit the mark with it.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
it too. And I really do.
And that's again how simple things can be. You don't have to go through all these iterations. It
Right.
just, it came to us. We said we like it.
Yeah.
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 There you go.
I remember years ago when I was managing high-tech teams, and one of my best employees, I knew within 5 minutes I was going to hire her. And then when my team found out, that I didn't do like all these extensive interviews and have her back and back again, I was like, don't you need, I said, no, she's going to work out. She was one of the best employees. It was just the signs were there, the intuition, kicked in, and it was like, no, I'm going to hire her. Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous.
We can make these things easy on ourselves.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. The more complicated you make something, molehills. It's just like no, it's just this. Let's not overthink this.
Right, take away the obstacles.
So, yeah.
Well, and a lot of it's just setting your intention. I recently had to hire a new assistant because my other one found a great job using her new degree. So what happened? She gave me 2 weeks notice, and we needed to train this person. And I said, well, we're going to find this person quickly, easily, and this is going to work out perfectly. And within 1 week, we hired the right person, and she was a good fit.
She is a good fit.
Yeah, she is a good fit. Yeah, and so she was there for a week getting training, and so it all worked out perfectly to make the transition. Right. And it was easy because we intended it to be easy.
Yeah. Like I said before, me and Mama D were writing a book, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. It's just going very fast. I've had a book in my head for years that's been, I write a chapter, like your friend. I write a chapter, and I just haven't had it to pull it together. I know that when it's time, it'll be like easy. And, and before it was like, I feel like I was forcing it. It's like, all right, I got a half hour here. I'm going and I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. If you're forcing it, it's not right.
Right. Yeah. But now Mama D and I come up with this idea, and it's like, kaboom, boom, 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 boom. It's like, I come up with the border thing for the pages and the cover and and it's like, I ripped out 32 pages today.
Wow.
Yeah. See? Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's simple.
Yeah.
So It's
Yeah, well, and that
timing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that actually does happen a lot with timing.
Right.
It does. It really does. So, and of course, timing is the cycles are interacting with your own chart, right? So certain times are going to work better for you than for other times, depending on what you're doing, because you'll have certain cycles that support something like that.
Right.
So
And
when
then,
it doesn't feel right, or when you're sitting down to write and it's just not coming, rather than force it or struggle with it, switch, go do something else.
Yeah.
And then when you
Gotta
sit
walk
down
away.
again, it will flow much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand that too. It's really hard. They can't walk away. But then you'll have the things like the errors and the
Right. Or
mistakes.
they'll feel like they wasted a day or they struggled with it.
Yeah,
It's like, go do something else.
yeah, just
Yeah.
stop, just take that breather.
And maybe,
Take a breather, take a
we've
breather.
created our lives where we have much more luxury to do that.
Yeah.
But it's
Mhm.
intentional that we live our lives these ways. I mean,
Right,
I worked for a corporation for 21 years. I've been self-employed for 21 years.
Yep.
And there are benefits and, maybe some drawbacks, to both. But it's on average what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I labored my whole life, right? I did.
Yeah.
From 12 years to 12 years old. I made more in a weekend than my mother did working all week, and that family that I worked for was a fruit stand, and they were the most business-oriented people you could ever meet.
Yeah.
And they taught me everything.
Oh,
They made
wow.
me, they molded me,
Yeah.
that it was impossible basically for me to work for someone else
Yeah.
because what I learned from them,
Wow.
So I've been self-employed majority of my life. I've had odd jobs here and there as a teenager,
Yeah.
early 20s, and that's it. After that, it's been my
You're
business.
self-made.
Yeah. And now I own my house outright
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not working. I haven't worked
Yep.
for 3 years,
Yep.
but it's like,
And when I was in my 30s, Madeline's heard this story. I set an intention to own our house, by the time I was in my 40s, because I was in the company I was working for. One of my jobs at the time was to integrate a subsidiary we had bought.
right.
And so that was new and that was a stretch for me. And I also knew the CEO of that company. He was in his 40s. He owned his house outright. For me, that was a novelty. My parents never owned their house outright. The bank always owned it.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to, be like that. By the time I'm in my 40s, I'm going to own my house. And so by the time I hit my early 40s, my husband and I, we owned 2 houses outright, not just one, but 2. And it's like, wow, this is amazing how things come together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be. And then to get this house, this is the house that put me over that mark, and I moved from Massachusetts to Pennsylvania. I got 100 houses. I swear to God, I did.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It was, and coming back and forth to do it too. So it was drive down 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever, Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Connecticut, getting through there. But, to get here and then look at all these houses. And this was the first house I looked at. But it went pending.
Yeah.
Then it fell through. Then it went pending again and it fell through. Then it was like the third time it was pending. And I'm looking at these other houses. I didn't realize that these, this one fell through and I didn't even know that it went up again and fell through again.
Wow.
Didn't even know that.
And then
I asked the realtor, I'm like, I really like that, because it's like a big castle, it's like my castle. And I love it. And I love the style and the architecture and the wood and everything about it. I love it. And it's like, I just really like that house. And it's cheap. Pennsylvania than it is in Massachusetts to have 3 floors. I mean,
circumstances,
square feet.
Yeah, wow.
But and then I just, I talked to the people that had this house and I said, hey, what's going on now? That this person, they were trying to get funding and it wasn't going through. And the people that owned the house before, it was the couple owned it. He died. She was old. She was into a home and the son was dealing with it.
Okay.
And he just really wanted to get rid of it.
Right. The circumstances rearrange themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I just said, well, listen, tell him I'll pay him cash. I'll give him this much and be done with it. And I was like, okay, signs of paper. But it all worked out perfectly, and you guys know for being in business too. Now I had two businesses at the time in Massachusetts, right? And it's the end of the year. I have to now sell my house, buy this house to make this all work, okay? And did it work out perfectly? Yes. At the end of the year, in December, selling and buying, so I don't have to go business into the next year
Right,
and
right.
debt close everything out. It was perfect.
There.
Amazing. That's great.
This is where trust is so important. Just to allow the
Yeah.
process
Yep.
and to hold it lightly.
Yep.
And to really focus on the end result. The end result. I want that house. That house is
Right.
ideal for me.
Yeah. And I was worried about the businesses and carrying over into January and
You're right.
and starting over again, and then I have to do all this for a whole nother year. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
And I put it out to the universe. That,
there you go.
Make this happen. And
so there's a concept, and I we write about it in the book as well. The concept of the universal manager.
Right.
And the concept is, think of the universal manager, out there in the sky, so to speak, with an advanced team, figuring out all this stuff ahead. Our job is to focus on the end result of what we want. And then you can call on your universal manager to get a team together to go and do the advance work for you.
Right. And I basically I did that, and
yes, that's exactly right.
Gene Slatter wrote a whole book about this, hiring the
heavens, hiring the heavens,
and then that's so in our book we have a resource list with great books, because that was our study over a period of years as well.
Between the workshops and everything else, and the sites,
and then we list all the tools, and the appendix is all the list of all the tools that
all the books that you are referencing, the resources, the everything. Oh my!
Because this is our manual as well.
Yeah.
It is.
And one thing that your viewers can do is just go to moneyisanenergygame.com and sign up for the newsletter, and they'll get a free copy of the first chapter. So they can start.
Somebody put that up there.
Yeah, they can start reading it and see if they like that process that we're taking them through.
Right. So moneyisanenergygame.com. You can go there and do that.
Right.
And again, let me put up your banners real quick here. So to get in touch with Peg, thanks. Sorry, I spelled
That's okay.
I did this thing quickly. I honestly,
I made my share as well.
Into the swing of the shows, because you take a month off, and I'll tell you get rusty.
Okay. Well, so you understood then last week when I was saying, "Hey, we're taking a little time, and after Labor Day,
yes,
that's right."
And then you can get a hold of Madeline at PolarisBusinessGuides.com. And
there is a little thing. Put that one back up top. Polaris Business Guides, MGB at Polaris Business Guides. It's just a little mix up of two letters.
Oh yeah, BUSI instead of IS.
Anyways, it's Polaris Business Guides. It's okay. I do my share.
See, this is what I was talking about earlier with Blue Communications. You see, we're in that period for Mercury retrograde where we make the mistakes.
And I was trying to do it really fast. I was doing it in the morning.
That's what happens.
I was rushing through the week. I got so busy the beginning of this week. It was insane.
So one of the things I did this morning.
Got to do this.
Yeah, I knew I was going to have a full day and a busy day, a lot of things I wanted to do. I took the time to sit down and do a 45-minute meditation, and just when I do that, it creates space. Well, I was done it turned out after 20 minutes, which was fine. It was like I just came to and said, oh, okay, that's enough. Oh, it's only 20 minutes. But I got everything done that, my daughter was asking, hey, what'd you do today? And I told her, because she left for, I think I was telling you, for Scotland yesterday.
Right.
So she was there before I woke up this morning. But in her departure, she left all sorts of little piles around the house of things she wasn't taking. So I'm not angry about it at all, but I know I'm the organizer, so I'm pulling it together and I got a lot of it done between last night and, well, actually, after I got back from the airport, I scrubbed my kitchen and bathrooms. I said, I'm gonna get up and start have a good day. So I was up till 1 a.m. doing that, but knew
Isn't
I'd
it
get a
funny
good
that
sleep.
when
Yeah.
it's like you need to like get that energy out.
Yes, my house has
somewhere.
to be in order for me to
For
function
me,
really well.
this is order for me.
Yeah,
like,
and so now I'm making great progress on ordering her things because she'll be away for a year, and so it's like, okay, we can tuck these things away, but when she comes back, I want to have them be orderly for her so she can get a good start again. So it's only going to take maybe tomorrow, and I'll have it all done.
But she's not like you then.
Oh, she's a Scorpio, so she,
Peg
has a
and I are
different
both Virgos.
so she has a different energy. She's very creative, and everything's sort of she'll always get it done on time, but a lot of it will happen at the last minute. And,
well, my kids are so opposite. It's pathetic. When they were growing up, it would be like I would know when Jesse was home because the trail of crap would lead you right through it. And like, oh
so
my
both
God.
my husband and daughter are away now. My husband's off at a business conference this week, so I have the house to myself, and I am on a cleaning spree. I can do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is great. But so all right, like I said, I had a whole bunch of questions. I don't think I asked not one of them. But what would be like the main thing you want to say on why someone would benefit getting this book? You go first, Madeline.
Well, there are many tools in that book that will give you lots of areas to consider as to whether you can improve your money situation. And it's not something you have to spend more money doing. It's your energy that's creating it. So the tools are basically free to you and they're not requiring you to spend more money, you see. And so it's a way for you to really understand what's truly impacting your money.
Right.
And it really does make a huge difference.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Absolutely. And with the link to the Emotional Freedom and Healing Release, it's like getting the book for free.
Yes.
You're not paying the $25 for a similar recording. You're getting access to that recording. And then also over 100 tools, tips, and techniques. There's something in there for everyone. So and you can start very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing. And that's the thing with feng shui. You never start with the most difficult things. Start with the easy things, because then it's like peeling an onion. All the easy things will come to the top. You do the same thing with clutter.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of what's on the surface first, because if you dive deep into the middle, you're going to get stuck because there's a lot of work to do. So you work your way to the middle from the outside in. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've already gone a little bit over. I don't want to hold y'all up, and I really appreciate you being here with us. I adore you both.
Well, this was awesome.
Thank you. It was great to be with you.
To be with you and to chat with you, and so thank you, and thank you for reading the book. I know you put a good amount of energy into it, and
that's a good
and all that. So thank you for
thank you for doing that. Really.
Yeah. All right. Well, hang here for a couple minutes, and for all you guys, we will be back next week, and then I got another hefty little chunk of book I got to read for next week. The Gift of the Body.
Wow.
This is by Jonathan Goldman. That's our guest next week, and we'll be talking about that. So join us next week, and for now, please share this show, because there's a lot in here that I want people to understand about this book and about these two lovely ladies. And thank you for joining us. And sorry Mama D couldn't hang with us tonight, but she'll be with me next week. And ciao for now, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our Anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.